Okay, have you ever done anything, something so stupid, something that you regret so badly, whether you were mean to someone or you didn't take an opportunity that was good for you, you didn't stick up for yourself, you didn't stick up for someone else, and you're just like, this is it, I'm an idiot, like, I'm never gonna get over this, no one else is gonna forgive me for this is it, like, my life is over, da da da. If you felt like that, trust me, like, it feels like you're, like, by yourself and you're like, oh, damn, like, this is over for me. But I felt like that too before, and if you felt like that and I felt like that, I'm sure many people have. And honestly, it builds character, it builds resilience, so period. But I'm going to teach you how to get over it, how to come out on the other side even better, and I'm going to teach you how to move on and not pretend like it never happened, because it's important to remember it happened, and I'll tell you that why later. But just how to move on from this and how to continue to get good things in life and allow yourself to get good things in life. Okay, so whenever you feel like guilt, remorse, like you feel bad, like you just feel like, what the heck did I just do? What the heck was I doing? Right? Like you feel cringe, that means that you grew. You look back and you're like, I would never do that again. Like, I would never, ever do that again. And that was so embarrassing and so terrible of me. That's a good thing. Like, I know that it, like, in the moment, it feels like the worst feeling ever, which, like, honestly, I had that feeling like 3 days ago. But it's a really good thing because it shows that you've grown. And the whole point, my friend just texted me, the whole point of this life, right, is to learn things, right? And not to get too philosophical here, but that's like literally what this whole thing is, right? You're only placed here to learn and to grow and to get better and live your best life. And you cannot live your best life without making these dumb mistakes where you're like, damn. And I feel like the worse the feeling is, the better the lesson was, and the better you've come out of it, the better the person you've become. Like, the best people would have had the feeling that you're feeling right now and 10 times worse, right? Because they're like learning like, oh damn, like that was a really terrible thing that I just did, whether it be to somebody, to yourself, whether you didn't stick up for somebody, whether you didn't stick up for yourself, whether you stole an opportunity from someone else, like whatever it was, you feel remorse, you feel bad, and you've learned from it. And I think it's even better, like whenever I do something that was really dumb and I feel bad, I'm like, I'm so glad that I did this now and I learned this now, rather than like 10 years later when it matters like 10 times more, right? Imagine like you're 10 times later and you're, you know, living your dream life and something, and you have a lot to lose in this minute. And if you made that same mistake then, like it could be like a make or break to your career or your reputation. You learned it now, right? The universe or God or whatever you believe in wanted you to learn this now, while it isn't as big of a deal. It's just a learning experience and you don't have as much to lose. And like, there's no point in beating yourself up about something that has already happened. You already did that. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Like, you can't do anything about it. Like, you can't go back in time. You can't fix it. All you can do is apologize. And if you want to do that, then go do that. And if they don't accept it, like, what are you gonna do then? You can't do anything. You just can't. And like, it's a bigger like waste of time to just sit there and be like, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. Yeah, what you did was wrong and what you did was dumb, perhaps. But are you going to do it again? Probably not. Right? And like, that's the most important thing, is to like reflect, like, am I going to do this again? And like, another thing that I always like tell myself is that like, that was the best that I could have done in that situation. That's what I did, right? Like, even if in that situation, maybe I thought it was a bad idea, but it's what I did, right? So some part of me thought it was a good idea because I did it. So in that situation, in that circumstance, with the knowledge you had at that time, that was the best you could have done. And there's no point in being like, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. Yeah, well, guess what? You did it. So what are you going to do now? Cry? Like, if you were dwelling on the fact that you made a mistake, you are worried about the wrong thing right now, babe. You are worried about the past. You are worried about something you cannot change. Worry about the fact that you're wasting your time right now sitting here being like, I made this mistake. That's a human thing to do. Yeah, but there comes a point, babe. There comes a point where you have to be like, that's what I did. What am I going to do now? Like, what am I going to do now? Like, later, you're going to be like, oh, I made that mistake and I wasted so much time worrying about it whenever I could have made solutions. That's why I'm in this stupid place now where, you know, like, I wasted so much time. I could have been in a better place, but I was wasting my time thinking about all the horrible things that I've done in the past. That's what you're going to be worried about in the future. Worry about right now. What are you going to do about what you just did in the past? Maybe you, I don't know, bullied someone in the past. That's a really bad thing to do. horrendous, and I don't stand with bullying at all, right? As somebody who has experienced it, I don't stand with it. But apologize to them, show them that you've changed, do something that helps the person that you bullied, do something. What are you going to do now? You cannot take back anything that you've done in the past. You can't. You can't go back and fix it. I wish I could go back and fix some of the stuff that I've done, but I can't, right? That's what you did in that moment. You were young and you were stupid, but now you know it's wrong. So what are you going to do now to fix it? And maybe that person's not going to accept your apology. And you know what? That's fine. Sometimes I don't accept people's apologies either, because I'm like, girl, please. But that doesn't mean that the rest of your life has to be shit because you treated someone else like shit. I think, like, the more mistakes I make, I'm like, the more interesting of a person I become, right? Like, the people who've never made mistakes, they have no stories to tell. It's like talking to, like, this, like, dull person that, like, has nothing to, like, talk about. They're like, one time I, like, tripped on a stick. Like, girl, please. Like, the most embarrassing, the most horrible decisions I've ever made, that's a learning opportunity, and that's a teaching opportunity too. Like, I teach kids, right? So I can tell them, like, one time I did this, make sure you don't do that. Like, it makes you a wiser person. And maybe whenever you have kids in the future, if you want kids, you can tell them this. Like, you can be like, maybe they make the same mistake and you're like, you know what, it sucks, but like, I did this too, and look where I am now. Or you could be like, don't do this because I did this and this is how I felt after. Like, you become a complex human being, and you become a more interesting human being too after, you know, not only going through what you went through and making that mistake, but also your resilience. Like, you made that mistake and you feel really bad about it, and you feel like you've kind of maybe ruined your life or ruined somebody else's life, and you're like, I'm such a terrible person. But you've come out of it and you've made something great about with your life. This is like a harder part, right? Is if you apologize to someone and they didn't accept your apology and they hold a grudge against you. That really sucks, right? That really, really, really sucks. And it's happened to me a few times, right? Where I did something and I apologized, and this, like, the thing that I did honestly was not that bad. Like, it really wasn't. Like, we were just in a fight and we both did bad things, but I said sorry and they didn't. And they just said, like, I don't accept it, and they don't want to be friends. And I'm like, cool, I don't want to be friends with you either, babe. I just said sorry to make myself feel better. But anyway, they don't need to accept your apology. Like, sorry, not sorry. They don't need to accept your apology. I don't need to accept your apology. You don't need to accept their apology. Like, nobody needs to accept anyone's apology. And that makes things harder to move on, but you can still do it. This is when the dwelling would probably amplify and be like, oh, like, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid, right? Okay, take that dwelling and shove it up your ass. Just kidding. Take that dwelling, and that was such an intrusive thought that I just had to act on. Take that dwelling and turn it into, why did I do that? Why did I do that to this person? Why did I do that? And if it was like a situation where, like, you guys were both fighting and you both, like, that was the best you could have done in that situation, where you were like, I hate this person right now and I need to call them the worst names in the entire world and I need to hit them. Focus on self-control, perhaps. Focus on emotional regulation, those types of things. Take all the misery and all the pain and all the pity you feel for yourself right now and turn it into bettering yourself. Emotional regulation, learning how to calm yourself down from that situation. What can you say instead of calling them, you know, all the things you called them, or doing all the things you did to them? What can you do instead of that? Turn it into a learning experience and not a dwelling experience, because you're honestly not getting much out of that. So, like, and I feel like sometimes whenever it was an accident, what you did, like, it was by mistake, it's even worse, because you're like, that's not who I am. Like, that's really not who I am. And like, you feel bad because now they think that you're a bad person for a mistake that you made. But honestly, like, that could just be like the universe telling you, like, you're not for them. Like, that was them being like the universe being like, let me just, like, break this apart because worse things are gonna happen. Like, honestly, if it was just an accident, like, I wouldn't think too much of it. I would just be like, you can't, like, at the end of the day, you can't do anything about anything you just did, right? All you can do, don't be like, okay, this is not me being like, if you were really mean to someone, be like, oops, I can't do anything about it now, like, toodles. Like, no, like, really reflect. Like, don't be a menace, why did you do that? And reflect on it. Don't be like, why did I do that? I'm so stupid. Be like, why did I do that? Like, what triggered me? What in the past came out? Like, what past traumas came out and like really made me act like that? Like, what possessed me to do that in that situation? What made me think that that was the best thing that I could have done? Do you know what I mean? Like, really, really think about it and give this, like, because you don't want to feel like this again, where you feel like shart for doing something bad, right? So really reflect and be like, why did I do that? Not in like a judgy way to yourself, but like give yourself grace and be like, why did I do that? Why did I feel like that was a good idea? You know? Like, I've done stuff in the past where I definitely like reacted, like overreaction isn't even like the word I would use. It's like mega reaction, where it was like, but I don't even know if it was an overreaction because that's how I felt in that moment. Do you know what I mean? I feel like there's no bad emotions, there's no wrong feelings. It's just the way you deal with them that can be like flawed. And like, I was like, why did I do that? You know? And I had to really think about like, what in the past has happened that was similar to that situation that would have triggered this reaction out of me. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, like, I feel like a lot of the times whenever we react, it's like you learned it from somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, you learned it from a parent, a grandparent, a past friend, a teacher, a coach, something like that. And it's like important that you unlearn those things. And sometimes you don't even know that you know those things until something that somebody else does or something that happens triggers that response out of you. And you're like, that was really wrong what I just did, and you feel bad. But there's no point in being like, I'm such a bad person. You need to figure out why that happened. Like, what was the cause of that, right? And I feel like sometimes the universe or God or whatever you believe in throws these situations at you where it would trigger this reaction out of you, just so you can reflect and be like, oh, like, this is trauma. This is like something that happened to me in the past that's making me act like this, and I need to work on that. And without this situation, you would have never ever noticed that you're dealing with this in the back of your mind, or you're dealing with this trauma. Maybe like I said earlier, it would have been triggered in a situation where it's 10 times more important to have a good reaction. For example, like a job interview, or I don't know, like maybe you're holding a really important meeting for your new company that you're launching or something like that. And maybe they'll trigger the same response out of you, but now you'll know how to deal with it because of something that you went through in the past where you actually had to reflect. Does that make sense? Like, it's better to reflect on like your past traumas now and regret your reactions now than 10 times in like 10 years later where you're like, damn, this was really important, I just blew it because I didn't work on what I needed to work on because I didn't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm just like rambling and I'm like, am I making points or am I making people confused? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like, am I slaying or am I confusing the actual living earthlings out of everyone? Like, please tell me you understood what I just meant. The next thing is to not repel good things just because you made a mistake. A lot of people, whenever good things happen to them after they've made a mistake, they're like, I don't deserve this. I'm going to repel this. This is not, I don't deserve this, right? You do. What's meant for you will always be, right? And a lot of people forget that. Like, they just think that like, oh, I made a mistake in the past, I don't deserve anything good anymore, which is not true. You always deserve good things, even if you did something bad. And like, you were given a second chance at life. You didn't die. If you were placed in jail, you were let out, right? Whether you did like community service or whatever, you've paid your dues and you're out. Give yourself a second chance. There's no point in you beating yourself up for the rest of your life about this if you are given a second chance. Everything else in life has given you a second chance except for you, and you are doing yourself a disservice. Like, seriously, take the good things that come to you. And if you continue to repel everything that comes to you, you will resent this life. You really will. If good things are happening to you and you're like, I have to repel this because I suck, you are going to resent yourself and you're going to resent life. And that's going to make you a dangerous person, and it's going to make you a worse person than the person you resent, right? You resent your past self. Well, guess what, babe? You are going to become a worse version of that because you are going to become so angry with the world. You need to take good things whenever they come to you because they are for you, okay? They are building you into the person that you are meant to become. You can't repel them. You just can't. There's no point, okay? And maybe you did do something really bad in the past, right? But you're not that same person anymore, because the fact that you are even thinking about repelling good things means that you regret things, means that you feel remorse, means that you're a better person than you were, means that you're a good person. You are a good person and you deserve good things, okay? Bad people don't feel remorse. They did something bad in the past and they're like, yeah, I did that, I'm such a baddie, like, da da da, and they don't feel bad. But you feel bad because you're a good person and you've changed. So you need to accept the good things, especially because it's going to build you into a great person, right? You are already a great person, but it's going to build you into such an amazing person. Take the good, okay? Just take it and grow it into something that maybe helps the people that you've been mean to in the past. Maybe you were, I don't know, maybe you've done something really, really bad in the past, and these good things that you're repelling are going to rebuild what you've done in the past that was wrong, right? Maybe it's going to make your wrongs right, but you are repelling everything, so you can't fix anything. You're making your situation worse. And like I touched on this earlier, right? And like you really did do what you thought was best at the time. Like, for example, I one time witnessed an adult bullying a child, right? I went to gymnastics and this adult was really, really bad to this child. And I was still a child. We were the same age. The child and I were the same age. At the time, we were like 10. And this adult was like in their 30s, right? Because she was our coach. And she was really, really mean. It was a racist issue, right? Because she was really racist towards this one girl. This girl is still my friend. But I felt so much regret for not sticking up for this girl. This girl meaning my friend. Like, I didn't stick up for my friend because I was also scared of this coach. Like, I was horrified of her. We would all be like shitting bricks every single day before we got to gymnastics because we were scared of this coach. And she was so mean to her. Like, she would make her do like extra conditioning. Like, if we had to do 2 rope climbs, she would have to do 10. Like, it was so bad. And she would like drop her on purpose. And if my friend fell on her head, like the coach would be like, do it again. Like, I didn't get it on video. Like, do it again. Or she would just laugh at her if my friend was crying and stuff. And it was like cruel, right? But I was so scared of her that I didn't stick up for my friend. And I felt so much regret whenever I was older. Because I was older, I changed. I'm seeing it from a different perspective now because I'm older, right? I'm seeing it as like, I should have stuck up for that little girl. But I was the same little girl. We were the same age, right? And the fact that I've grown now, the fact that I have changed so much to the point where I see the situation completely differently now, means that I've grown as a human being. Like, I shouldn't feel regret for that anymore, and I still do. I'm like, I should have stuck up for her. But at that time, that was the best I could have done, right? In that situation, that's the best that version of me could have done. And there's no point in being like, I'm so stupid, I should have done something, I should have said something, whatever. I just couldn't. And this is an example of what I was saying earlier. Like, sometimes you regret it and you feel remorse, but you don't reflect to the point where you change. You just feel bad for what you've done and you feel bad for yourself, but you don't reflect to the point where you're like, oh, let me change my wrongs. Because whenever I was 13, I felt remorse for not sticking. No, was I 13? I was like 12 or 13 or something. I felt remorse for not sticking up for that girl, for my friend, whenever I was 10. But I still work. I wasn't a gymnast anymore. I was a coach. I quit gymnastics and they were like, do you want to be a coach? And I was like, sure. So I started coaching, right? And they made fun of this girl's name. She was from Egypt. She had a different name. I don't remember the name, but she had a different name, right? And they made fun of this girl's name, and she was like, oh, her name would be so much prettier if she just had like a regular Canadian name. Or and I'm like, what on earth is a regular Canadian name? This place is so diverse. Like, you hear different names from everywhere all the time. Like, what are you talking about? But anyway, like, I didn't say that though. I kept it to myself because I was still scared of them, because they would still yell at me. Even as a coach, they would still yell at me. But now that I'm in my 20s, like, I'm thinking like, oh, definitely now. Like, I would obviously stick up for this girl now, because I'm older. But these are like the examples of like, you did what was best at the time. Like, at that time, keeping my mouth quiet was the best I could have done in that situation in my head at the time. And like, to be totally honest, at that time, I was literally on survival mode. Like, I was like, I just need to get paid. Like, I need to get through this day. And like I wanted a job, and that was the job that was like offered to me at the time, right? That was a place where I had connections and whatever. So it's so annoying. I keep looking over there, but I should be looking right here. But anyway, yeah, like those are the things where it's like I should have known better, I should have done better. But like, what are you gonna do? Regret it for the rest of your life? No, you just need to apply it. You need to apply what you've learned. And like, honestly, I've done stuff a day ago that I'm like, oh, that was really embarrassing, really awkward, really embarrassing, that I need to work on. But would I do it again in like a day? Probably, right? Because I'm not reflecting hard enough. But it's not like bad. It's more like somebody was like talking to me and I felt awkward and I glanced at my phone. And I'm like, oh, that was really fucking rude of me. But would I do it again? Yeah, because I get socially nervous about everything. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that this does help a little bit. And like, let's like go over the main things. Just like not really dwelling, turn the dwelling into reflecting and changing. Like that's the best you can do in this situation where you feel like sharp for everything that you've ever done wrong in life. The best you could do is just reflect and change. That's basically the only thing you can do in this situation. Not everyone's gonna like accept your apologies, and that's just the way life is. And yeah, honestly, you're not alone. I know it feels like every single time you go through something bad, you're like, oh, I'm alone in this world. Like nobody else feels my pain and sorrow. But you're not alone. Everybody has felt like this at least once, twice, 100 times in their life where they regret. Like regret is like a really, really common thing. And maybe the things that are causing regret, there's a little bit of a gap. Like maybe one person like stole like a bunch of stuff from a store and they feel regret, and some person embarrassed themselves and they feel regret. Regret is different, but at the end of the day, you can learn something out of all of it and you'll be fine. Just don't repel the good that comes into your life, because you will turn into a demon. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I adore all of you. Okay, bye.